Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 457 at scavengerlife.com.
So this has been a very up and down week for us. Very emotionally up and down.
Yeah.
Mainly just because, of running a business and, not having steady income like you would if you worked at a job.
Right.
I think a lot of Americans are experiencing that right now with either being laid off or they run a business and the business is being closed, and you go back and forth between, okay, we're good. Oh, we don't have any money. Oh, we're good. Oh, we're not going to have any money.
Yeah.
So like for us this week, we had thought we had kind of gotten over the hump of like how bad this could get for us. And we do eBay. That's mainly what this podcast is about. Yep. But we also have Airbnb rentals.
Yep.
And we'd kind of recovered. We had gotten like a lot of cancellations on Airbnb.
Yeah.
But then we started getting rebookings from other people wanting to come out to the country. So it was kind of like, oh, okay, we're okay. But then our county actually shut down short-term rentals for the next 2 months. So all those rebookings, we had to cancel. So it went from going to like, okay, we're going to be okay to like, oh.
We have no business.
That whole stream of income is definitely over. It was already not going to be great, but at least there was going to be some income. And it goes back to then we'll just have to depend on our eBay money and any savings we have.
Right.
So that was...
that's a huge percentage of our income is from those rentals. Right. And it in one day, they gave us 1 day notice. Right. And they put out a proclamation being like, you cannot rent to...
Like an actual proclamation.
That is what it was.
And I get it. It's, I think you see articles about it, about rural areas shutting down their borders almost to keep out city people because they're afraid of them bringing the virus. So.
Right, because there are hot spots in the cities and the urban areas where we have 2 cases in our county.
I do understand it, but I do understand, obviously, because we got hit with it. It's like, it's like someone shuts your business down. It's like we're taking one for the team here, so keeping everybody safe. But it's a tough one.
Well, it's hard because we agree with what they're doing. Right. I'm like, yeah, you should. I don't agree with like checking people's license plates at the county border, which they aren't doing. Yeah. But, I also agree with them saying people need to stay home. They should not be traveling. They should not be going out other than getting essentials. But to really feel it and be like, oh, your business is like turned off by someone else is really hard.
I think what bugged me more is that, so I talked to the head of we have like a board of supervisors, that's kind of our local leadership here. Yeah. And, I let him know, like, you didn't really give any more information, or there seem to be any thought to all the businesses here that are going to be affected by that. Because it's not just anyone that owns a rental.
It's a hotel,
It's all the cleaners.
Yep.
It's all the maintenance people. Yep. It's like there's a whole economy that they just shut down, and it's officially for 2 months or so. But they said it's kind of indefinite until they feel it's better.
They did not give an end date.
Yeah. So, and I just said, you need to like respond to that because people need to feel like you're understanding the.
And the other thing too that's tough is, the town and the county also aren't like, we know this is really hard. We know you have to pay property taxes, and in town you have to pay utilities. Sure. So there's no help with any of no one said anything, right? And you're like, well, I still have to pay everything for these houses, even though they're making zero income.
So, like we said, it was really up and down. We thought that we'd kind of gotten our finances under control, and that we had kind of had the worst of what was going to happen with this virus to affect our businesses, and then it got worse. So it's what it is. And so we had to like have a couple days where we look at our money and our finances and look at how much money's coming in, and we're still fine. But it's just like, I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with. It's just chaotic. And, like that one-time check that I guess is still going to happen. The government's going to give $1,200 to everybody. I mean, that's great. It doesn't really make up for everything, obviously. That's just kind of getting food on the table. And with things like business loans, people in the forum were sharing links to the SBA is giving loans, but that doesn't really affect, I think, people like us, because that's more for people with big payroll to keep their people employed for the next couple months. And also just taking out a loan, like we had talked about a week ago, that doesn't really help us. We don't want to go deeper in debt just to get through a month. So
I mean, I can't tell you how many people in our community and beyond were sending me links to that SBA loan, and I'm just like, I don't qualify for this. And they said, oh, and you can, like, part of it might be forgiven after a while, but that's very unclear. Basically it could become a grant. Right. And it's just, it's tough, because you're just like, we're such a small business that we don't even qualify for those things,
And I just think and it's not like it's a surprise. I mean, it's always that way. We talk, I mean, even when times are great, we talked about running our own business. It's just like, we're doing this without a safety net, like we need to make a certain amount of money every week, every month to pay our bills. And there's nothing to protect us if something goes wrong. And we're learning that now. You know? And thank God we just are savers too. So we're okay. But then I think I mean, the last gut punch that could happen to us is, what happens if the post office shuts down?
If the post office shuts down, I mean, I will literally be like starting I joked with my sister, I'm going to start like a bread CSA on Facebook where I like bake people bread for money, because I'm just like, I don't know what, at this point, what else do I do?
Right. I'll make like friendship bracelets for people.
No, it's got to be food related, because food is neat. Like if the last time we were at Walmart, which at this point was like 2 weeks ago, there's barely any bread. Yeah. So,
well, we do have a long-haired cat that I could like brush and
make like
harvest long hair and make little mittens out of it. Yeah. So
I don't know.
That's where we're at. And like I said, we're okay. We have savings, but it just shows how income is so fragile, especially if you're working for yourself
and trying to do other things. I mean, it's not even just like, we do eBay and we survive on eBay, and stuff is still selling on eBay, thank goodness. Yep. But we try to do all these other things because they're interesting to us. I mean, I had a moment this week, even before our rentals were shut down, where I was like, should I just stop all the things we're doing and just like do eBay? Like, just get rid of everything else. I mean, I don't think...
I mean, like, permanently?
Yeah, Really? It was just one of those thoughts where...
Like in the middle of the night kind of thought?
Like, yes, exactly. Well, it's like, you wake up in the middle of the night when all this is happening, and you're just like, how do I, make a safety net for myself? Like, just like bring everything down. But that's unfortunate to have that thought, because there's this whole idea of like American entrepreneurship where you're like, no, I should be able to like build small businesses up and employ people.
But there's no safety net.
But there's no safety net for that.
Or at least in this country.
There's nothing holding us up but ourselves.
Now, we have talked about this. If worse comes to worse, we can always sell everything. Yeah. We would have our house paid off. And we could just sell on eBay, and we could just go back to what we were doing back in 2010.
Basically.
And it'd be a much more simple life, but it would be fine, So that's why I'm not, at the end of the day, like super freaking out. It's just like, we have things we want to do, things we've been working towards, that is now being stopped or slowed down. But, again, everyone's going through this. And so I just got to be grateful for what we do have. Yeah. Here's the topic. That wasn't even the topic. That wasn't even it. That was a lead up. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, we talk about being frugal. We always talk about it, right? Like we're frugal people.
Yeah.
And it really, in these times, really shows me the importance of us being frugal.
Right.
Like, I think when times are really good and people are making money and unemployment's low and the stock market's crazy.
Right.
Like, people are like, why are you frugal,
Yes.
But this is why. It's a defense mechanism against times like these. And, making money is important, but being cheap or being frugal is the only way we have to protect yourselves.
Yeah.
You either make a lot of money or you don't spend a lot of money. It's kind of like a combination of those two.
Right.
And it's good to be frugal in good times, because if we weren't frugal and then crap hits a fan like it has right now, it's hard to start being frugal right now.
Right.
Because it takes time to develop that habit.
Yeah. Well, it just becomes normal. Like the food in our fridge and the way we're eating and, our stockpile of food in our freezer. I'm like, that's normal. Like, this is not, like, we will go a week without going to the grocery store. If we don't have to get stuff for the rentals, which often we do, I'm just like, I don't have to do any of that. Like, I can just stay here. I have everything I need.
I mean, I think you make a very good point that really our daily life hasn't changed that much.
Right.
From before this virus and all the isolating started. I mean, we still cook every meal. We always cook every meal.
Yeah.
We all, I made some
make our
Indian
own,
food
whatever.
today.
It's like,
we work from home. We always work from home. Our bills are under control. They're always under, we're not spending like crazy. We don't spend anything unless we have to. It's like, that's our default. Like,
that's default.
Our default is not spending. And then we talk about any purchase over $50.
Essentially.
I mean, that's just what we've always done. So it's not like we have to. I can imagine there would be people who getting laid off or they're freaking out, which I totally understand. And them and the family, their partner, they're like, okay, how do we do this?
But what are we doing?
Let's stop spending here. Let's cut this. Let's cut that. Let's stop the vacation to Europe and let's.
I mean, think of all the homeschool families right now. They're like, this is just how it is anyway. You know.
So,
but
so there's a reason why people are frugal, and this is really
like we don't feel that pain. I mean, through our businesses, yes, we do feel that pain. But through our life and our lifestyle, which is not very separate from that, but you know, I'm like, I feel fine.
Right.
I honestly. So something I was saying to my family, because I told them that our rentals got shut down, which they know is a huge deal for us. I was just like, look. I have food, the water's running, we have electricity and internet. Yep. That's fine. Yep. Like, I feel fine.
Yep.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's emotional, it's devastating. It's not just devastating to us, it's devastating to everyone that this is affecting.
Well, I think that was the hard thing was that, and we'll get onto the thing next, when they made us cancel everything over the next couple of months, it was like over $7,000, and I had to contact each person. We're canceling you because of this, and people were like, "I get it," but it was almost like taking all that money, putting it into a pile, and lighting it on fire, and it's very painful because that would have been nice.
Well, I think what hurts us too is like we're both on local economic boards. I'm on one in the town, you're on one in the county, and so we're like. This is going to affect so many people in our county. Right. Like, it's affecting us, obviously, but we know so many other people that do this and depend on this as the economy that do not have savings or, have construction loans or, big mortgages.
It's definitely going to have...
So it's scary.
Repercussions. And, we talk about... I think America's a very into... we're all individuals and personal freedom, but this is really showing there is, at the end of the day, we're all in it together, and there's going to be sacrifices people have to make for everybody, and we're all making different sacrifices, from the nurses and doctors who are sacrificing their personal health, helping people, to the people delivering stuff, the postal workers.
Grocery store workers, shout out.
People... people who run small businesses who are shutting down their businesses just so everyone can be safe. So yeah, I mean, personal freedom, sure, but at the end of the day, we're all in it together. Okay, eBay is why you came here.
Is it?
And it is interesting. eBay income has been the foundation of basically our lives since 2008, and definitely since 2010. We've talked about it. eBay for 2008 to 2010 was kind of like, we're trying things, we're experimenting, but we're not really depending on it. And it was like 2010 when we built enough of a inventory where we were making enough every month.
Yeah, that was our job.
Pay for everything. And if we chose to, didn't have to do anything else except do eBay.
Yep.
And it's funny, 2020 here, it continues to pay our mortgage and our base bills every single month.
I mean, people are still...
Right.
We'll talk about what we sold this week. I'm just like, thank God people are buying this stuff. God. I have no idea why.
Right. For us, it's... weird, vintagey stuff, and thank God for collectors and nostalgia.
Look,
people.
I can't tell you how much artwork I sold this week.
Right. Well, we actually could tell people.
Okay, it's a saying. Thank you, but my hypothesis is people are in their houses and they're like, look at that wall. It's blank. I need something there.
And like we said a couple of weeks ago, I mean, this is what happened in 2008. Like, it seems dire, like society's going to collapse, or it seems like just total whatever.
Yeah.
But we have to remember, there are many, many, many Americans that are okay.
They still have jobs.
They have Social Security. They have pensions. They have military pensions. They
still have a paycheck. Like, a lot of people still have a paycheck.
And so it isn't like everyone is broke, and that's good for people like us. Our local auction house, the one we like to go to, we had bought some stuff at an online auction, and they had a thing where we drove up.
It's like curbside pickup.
And then they started another online auction, and I was bidding on stuff, and then they just canceled everything because our state in Virginia, they did a shelter in place, and the local auction house says, nope, we're not even going to do it the way we're doing it. We're totally closed.
They're totally shut down.
So, that's another example. They didn't actually have to do that, I don't think, but it's another example of a business they
were like, we don't want to. Basically, they were like, we don't want to endanger people even coming here.
Yeah. So I'm glad that a couple weeks ago
we bought
a truckload of stuff, so we have enough to eat on. As I like to say, that's a saying. Eat on it for the next month or two.
Yeah, I'm now going to call you Jay Exotic.
Yeah.
We can get into Tiger King later. But yeah, so I am paying my eBay helper right now. I am getting a bin of stuff together, putting it in the driveway. She's picking it up and dropping off the other stuff.
Right. And so to kind of expand on that, we had asked about eBay started a new thing where you can give someone certain access to your eBay
limited
account.
Access.
And we had heard about it, and we're like, well, let's try it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And you and our helper were good. You were just texting each other, and you gave her access. And so she can now, it's still the eBay phone app doesn't have the same ability as the desktop.
Right.
Because we think it's because those are two different developers, but she's taking pictures on her phone,
and she airdrops them because she's got a Mac, so she just airdrops them from her phone to her computer, and then just uploads the photos as she goes and types.
And she can only do drafts, and then you turn them into scheduled,
which really isn't that big a deal
because the drafts, if you do too many of them, they'll
start disappearing.
overwrite, and after 2 weeks they disappear.
Yeah, I don't know if you do too many of them. I think it's more like if it's over 30 days, which you shouldn't. Yeah. I mean, don't let drafts sit that long anyway. So what I do is when she's done for the day and she like got all the photos up, I just move them to scheduled, which is actually good because I'm trying right now because she's working from home. We're trying to keep track of like how many things did she do and how many hours. Like how long is this? Is it taking longer?
Right.
Whatever.
Right, and it's costing us $2 a listing for photos, making a draft, writing item descriptions, and a title. So the only thing we do is do a price.
Yeah, do a price
and list it.
And sometimes I'll tweak the titles. Sometimes they're fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's like weird keywords where I'm like, no one in the world would know it was called this. It's called this. Right. You know.
So it's good. I mean, it's just really. And I think about it how eBay had been in 2008. eBay really has come a long way. I mean, sure there's plenty for people to complain about, and we do too. But you know, just the fact that we can do this is great. Where
it's really helpful. Yeah. Like once we got the process down and figured out, you know, all the quirks of it, she's like, "Oh, this is actually pretty fast. Like, this is actually great."
Yep.
I mean, it sucks to be like, "Come over, get the thing, go home, whatever," but. She's
happy for the work.
She needs work. I need work to get done. I need to list stuff on eBay. I have a office full of stuff that needs to get listed.
It's nothing but time.
So, I mean, what else am I doing here?
And then inventory, the never-ending, soon-to-be-ending saga of doing our inventory. 8,000 items, going through one by one.
Yeah, basically one by one.
Placing them in a bin that has a certain number and location in our warehouse. And now we've finished all the pottery and glassware, which was a huge undertaking. And now we're finishing, or we're doing our artwork, which is basically just these shelves. And just the artwork is kind of...
stacked next to each other.
You know, like,
thank God it's not stacked on top of each other, which for years it was.
Right, they were
horrifying.
Kind of up and you had to pull them out of bins.
Oh God, it was terrible.
Now it's more like at a thrift store where they're like leaning up against each other and you can just flip through them. But now we're going through each piece of art and putting a number on it. And now when we sell things, you can say this better than I can. Almost everything now has
a number.
A location.
What's weird is when something doesn't have a number.
Right.
Because then you're like, wait, it doesn't have a number. Where is it?
Yeah.
And inevitably it's in a funny bin in a corner that hasn't gotten done yet.
So I don't know. It's a big deal. Like I know everyone was saying we should do it. And like I always say, we're super slow. Like it's not like we don't understand the logic of it. But, you know, it takes a lot of work. And it's cool. We did it. So our store keeps evolving. Okay, let's talk about our week. So this week we sold 41 items for $1,281.11.
Great, thank
For
God.
gross profits, does not include shipping costs because that really doesn't mean anything as far as profit to us. Now that was actually about $400. We made a week ago. We made about $400 more than this week. I think it's just because we weren't selling anything that was really super high dollar.
It was really low dollar. And this one guy. Did we say this? This guy who gave us an offer on a clock.
Oh yeah.
It was over $100, and he kept messaging me over and over again.
Right.
I really want this. I'm gonna pay for it. I'm paying for it on April 3rd. He messaged me like 5 times, and I was like, fine.
Yeah.
Did he pay for it on April 3rd? No, he didn't.
This is a customer. This is under customer issues.
But so I don't know if we had included that in one of our numbers.
Yeah, maybe a week or two ago. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone has these things where like someone will buy an item, and then they'll say, "I will pay you 2, 3, 4 weeks." In the future.
And you really want that sale.
And, you know, it's like a weird item and it's a good amount of money and you're like, of course. And you take off the item. So I made it so the unpaid item assistant didn't open. So I'm like, all right. Look, sometimes people actually pay because I guess that's when their check comes in or however else. But this guy just didn't do it. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So things we sold. Yeah, we sold several pieces of artwork, which is very nice. We sold $150 like print, which was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like some oil painting. I mean, and these are
random.
And like we always say, maybe one day you'll hit the jackpot and find like a really fancy named artist.
These are unnamed people. These are amateur artists.
But it's just stuff that looks cool, and people will buy this stuff. We sold, pieces of glass and pottery, which is always so fun and nice.
I took some low offers on some of those just because, we had just inventoried this one shelf, and there was some stuff where you're like, why do I even have this? And someone gives you an offer on it, and you're like, yes, I'll take $12 for those dessert plates. Right. Get them out.
Well, I mean, when we were doing the inventory of all the china and pottery and stuff, I mean, I'm like, a lot of that is you, and not in a bad way, but when we go to an auction and buy a table of stuff, there's always just like stacks of this stuff, and you're pretty ambitious where you're willing to try to sell everything.
I mean, there is some stuff that I will get rid of.
Yeah.
If I can't find an identifying mark or it does not feel quality, I will just I've seen those things sit on my shelf, and I'm like, I don't want that quilted candy dish. Like,
we did lower the price on a number of items that we know we had for a long time. We always
we were inventorying them.
And I think that there were maybe in the whole wall of stuff, hundreds of items. Yeah. There were maybe 5 or 6 things we couldn't find, so we pulled out, and then I
found them.
Found most of them.
It's funny, like, there were these weird, because I keep emails,
of sold items.
Yeah, I used to keep emails of messages, which I don't anymore. I just delete them. But I had, there's this one bowl that I couldn't find. And it ends up, this is 3-4 years ago. Someone was like, oh, I had paired it with a butter dish. Why we did that, I have no idea. They did not match. They were the same color, but not same make. And she was like, oh, I just want the butter dish, not the bowl. So I was like, fine. But I didn't relist the bowl. So it's been sitting on the shelf for 4 years. So,
again, that's an example of...
Let me just say this, though.
Okay.
And then it sold within a day after I listed it. Yeah. So you're like, this sat here for 4 years, and someone was like, yes, I want that.
Right.
It's so weird.
But that's an example of what, when people say inventory is gone. I don't know. Maybe for some people, eBay is stealing their inventory. I don't know. But
there was a reason why all of mine were gone. And actually, I found a bunch of linen tablecloths and stuff in this one bin. There were 5 things that weren't listed. And I'm like, what? Why aren't these listed? I found the folder in my backup hard drive. They were all in the same folder, all in a row. So I'm like, something happened during my listing process where I got interrupted and I thought I finished this folder and I didn't.
Yeah.
And here's 5 items how long have they been sitting here that I thought that they were listed and they weren't.
Now, a real professional business would probably every 12 months do an inventory of everything.
How could you
We're never going to do that again.
It's never going to happen again.
So we just really need to remember why some of these things are in there, and we need to make sure if someone returns something, we put that item up.
There was a couple things like these. I had a couple coffee mugs that had sayings on them. Mm-hmm. So I would look up part of the saying or one word in the saying, and it wouldn't come up. And I'm like, I spelled it wrong.
Right.
It was spelled wrong. Yep. But I found it, know. So
okay. And customer issues. We talked about that. Yeah, one woman did buy a piece of art that she says she's going to return. So I guess that
for color,
we'll see. And she says it's because it wasn't the right
tint of red. Really, lady? You're killing me here.
Yeah, but that's, hey, that's what happens.
Hey, I have free returns on, so.
Things we learned in the forum. Yeah, just people were really talking about kind of how they're getting through this time and being at home. There was long conversations about, we have our items picked up from our house every day. So we have a system.
From the post office.
We have a post office person who we know.
We used to not do that.
And she comes and she knows where to put it. We don't ask the post office to come every day, do the online form.
I just put the flag up.
She just knows we put everything in an IKEA bag. She takes the whole bag. She scans it before it goes in the truck. Then the next day she puts the IKEA bag back in our mailbox. And, so it's perfect for us. But a lot of eBayers take the items to the post office,
right?
Which is cool because they're probably in an urban area.
Well, they want it scanned because when I've been in New York, when we visited New York, and I don't get a receipt, they don't scan it.
But that's not why they do it. Okay. So they're doing it because they go there because they're in an urban area and they can't just keep stuff on the porch. And so this whole getting stuff picked up is new to them because understandably some people don't want to drop their packages off in the post office and deal with the virus and stuff like that. So those of us that do get stuff picked up, we're trying to talk through these new people how to do it. And the big thing is I know there's an online form and there's a system online, but honestly, the post office is a very organic system. And the way to do it is to talk to your carrier and figure out a system with your carrier. Right. And hopefully you have some consistency to your carrier, either one or two or three of them. And then once you develop a system, then everyone's happy, Yeah,
I mean, our system works because our carriers know that if I have the flag up and there's nothing in the box, then there's something on the porch. Right. I do sometimes do those sheets online if I have like a bunch of stuff and I just really want to make sure they get it. And on those sheets, they're like, how many priority, how many first class, and how many other? I just guesstimate, It doesn't, they're not our post office is not counting those and being like, you didn't have 30 items. They don't care.
Yeah. And I mean, and people were complaining they fill out the online form to get a pickup and then the post office person comes and doesn't pick up. Because I'm telling you, I don't know. I feel like it's very common for that online form to not get to the carrier or the carrier is just
they're just not paying attention.
Look, it's a stressful time. I get it. So, be polite, be friendly, but it is the post office. It is kind of a give and take.
Well, and if you've never done it before, they're not expecting that. So, make sure that you're like, I need these things picked up now.
And, those people who are in urban areas who normally couldn't put it on their porch because they're not home when the post office person comes. If we're all home, then you can put it on your porch and you can just be there and watch it,
all day.
And, most post office people come around the same time every day often. Yeah. So, so I think people can do it if they want to. Okay. I'm going to put this in here because people were asking about it. What do we cook this week?
What did you just cook this morning?
I cooked butter chicken.
It's an Indian dish.
Yep. Actually, I was on a Reddit, and they have those GIF recipes.
Yeah.
Or GIF. However
I say GIF.
GIF, yeah. Where it just shows you in a quick 30-second video how they cook.
Oh, and one was butter chicken.
And it was,
butter chicken's really easy
with like spices and tomato sauce.
It's so good.
I felt like I was in an Indian food restaurant.
You also made like jasmine rice in the Instant Pot, so you delicious. Definitely felt like you.
My belly is so full.
Yeah.
We also have been making bone broth.
Yeah.
Because. So I've been making a lot of chicken, like big,
like drumsticks and.
Like, I'll buy these bags of chicken, cook the whole batch of chicken, then I'll take the chicken off the bone, keep the bone in a container in the fridge, and then we'll put the bones in the Instant Pot and make bone broth.
Yeah, because I ran out of chicken bouillon the other day, and I was like, what do I do? Oh, I'll just make bone broth out of all the drumsticks bones that we have.
And we put the bone broth in tomato soup. And
I've been making this creamy tomato soup. I've been making bread. Yep. I made keto bread, which definitely was not as good as regular bread. I will say that. I've made it before, but I've been
where it doesn't have as many carbs, right?
Yeah, it's like lower carb.
But I've been enjoying the bread with the honey from our hive that we harvested
our hive the other week. So good. We have so much honey.
And then I've been making a lot of egg in a hole.
That was called egg in a basket.
Or it could be egg in a basket, where you take pieces of toast. So this bread we make, you butter it, or you can put mayonnaise. This is just oil.
Yeah, it's an oil.
You fry the bread.
Yeah.
Then you take a knife and you cut like a hole in the middle of each piece of bread, and then you crack an egg in the hole.
And it cooks the egg.
And then it cooks it, and I like it to be over easy. So you just put it in there where it doesn't cook it hard, and then you put it on your plate and you cut it open, and the yolk spreads out, and all the bread is soaking that up, and you're just like this.
I'm trying to think what else we made tuna, like tuna melts.
Yeah.
A lot of cabbage.
I mean, honestly,
cauliflower.
Ryan, you were saying
this is how you eat anyway.
We go to the store every week. I mean, we actually don't need to even go except for like just kind of luxuries. Like, if we want a little bit more milk or cream, but otherwise, we have so much food here.
Like, I think we can handle it without it.
We could live for 3 months on the food we have easy.
I was thinking, this is kind of crazy. I was thinking I would order dried powdered milk. It's so hard to find online right now. Like, it's out of stock on Amazon. So I'm kind of like, well, I honestly could do without milk. I drink black coffee. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
But
okay, let's go to the calls that people sent in this week.
Hi, this is Keith from Vintage Classic Store. Hey, I'm calling about, I've just started getting around to inventorying my store now that I have a little bit of extra time with this coronavirus. I actually was laid off. Temporarily, I'll be rehired back, but that's another story. But I started inventorying my store. I have 3,700 items. There's probably 10% of the items that I think were on eBay is now no longer on eBay. And I think I've figured out what's going on. If a buyer buys the item or doesn't pay or returns the item and the item gets relisted, a good to cancel item, I think only goes back to 30 days and then somehow doesn't end up on ended listings. I am a very, very, very organized person. And yeah, like I said, I probably have 10 to 15% of items that are supposed to be on eBay. I remember taking the pictures, remember listing it, it's just not on eBay. And I think this is what's happening now that I'm like looking at this huge pile that I have going. But I just want to pass that word along. All right. Keep safe. Be well. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
So is that the same theory I have where, someone, like, for example, someone bought this mug that we had, and I remember they returned it because I remember they were like, there's a chip and I, whatever. And I just never relisted it.
No, okay, so let's talk about what he's talking about.
Okay.
He says, so tell me, when someone returns an item.
Yes.
And you go to put it back up.
Right.
He's saying it automatically reverts to 30 days? I mean, are you choosing good to cancel?
I mean, I'm just like relist item.
Mm-hmm.
I usually...
As new, or how do you...
I mean, it just says relist it.
Okay.
And then usually I go back and check the listing just to make sure, okay, I don't screw something up the second time someone buys it. It looks the same to me. I mean, it looks good till canceled. I don't know if this is something that happened at a period of time that he's talking about, but I definitely noticed items where people return them and eBay doesn't automatically relist them, or it didn't for a long time.
Right.
So you're like, you put it back on the shelf and you forgot to relist it.
Right, but again, that's a user error.
That's a user error. That's not
something
eBay error.
eBay had done wrong.
So
which he's implying that there could be something where eBay's is redoing it for 30 days and then
it ends.
You don't know. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, it could work different for different people, but we have now inventoried almost the entirety of our 8,000 item store, and I would say 40 items, maybe, if even that.
And each one had a reason. Honestly, each one had a reason that I could actually dig into my email and figure out.
Right. So we were not seeing just
I wasn't seeing that glitch.
People were talking about 10%. So for us, that would have been 10%. Like 800 items, and we did not find that. So
I mean,
I feel like everyone has a different process, but there are different ways to do it. And maybe the way certain people are running their store, there's some sequence in there that is getting eBay confused or something.
I don't know the answer. I mean, from my situation, anything that wasn't listed had a story behind it, and it was user error. I don't think there was one piece of artwork, that just was never listed, and I'm like, I think I just skipped this one in the folder. I think it was so similar to the other 5 pieces that I just thought I already did it,
So, I don't know. But that is kind of the nightmare for anyone that has an eBay store that has kind of a larger inventory is having ghost inventory,
Just sitting there.
It's like you said, that bowl that was on the shelf for 36 months, just sitting there. It was not on eBay. It was just taking up space, and then you put it up, and it sells
within a day.
So
you're like, people wanted this.
That is the nightmare for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That is it for the calls this week. Hope everyone is being safe and, spending this time with their family or loved ones. That's, a bonus.
Look, I've communicated with my family more in the last month than the last year.
Right. I'm seeing all the photos of all the food everyone's eating.
My sister just was like, this is what I have for lunch.
Yeah, and it's your mom's like, look, Parmesan encrusted trout. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Okay, you can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com. That's where we have a forum as well. If you want to join in our conversation, come in and introduce yourself. Some guy from it's New Zealand and came onto our forum and introduced himself.
Our first Kiwi.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Though he doesn't sell on eBay because I guess it's hard to ship from there. They have something called Trade Me on it's New Zealand. But it says he dumpster dives.
Nice.
And at their dump, there's a section where people put stuff aside. And
I wish we had that at our dump. Oh, my God.
You can leave a question or comment on our voicemail line.
The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Yep, and episodes go up every Monday, either through your podcast client or through a YouTube. And Wednesdays, like clockwork, Steve will post his What Sold video.
He sells good stuff.
Yep. With that smooth, chocolatey voice.
His radio voice.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, you can do nothing else except we're ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.